Last left our heroes, Carson Wentz was on the field, double moonwalking the Colts' ass. Alshon Jeffrey was working on his game, getting ready to play. What will Howie Roseman do? What will he do to get another wide receiver? Will he go out and trade Nick Foles? Is he talking on the phone right now? Find out on the next episode of Philly 500. Kick the red, double move on the red. Yo everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So happy Victory Monday for everybody as the Eagles defeated the Colts yesterday. And the big talk around town, the big talk in Eagles Nation is, hey get up there, hat. Should the Eagles trade Nick Foles or try to the San Francisco 49ers who lost Jimmy G yesterday to an ACL injury? Now this is a perfect scenario, right? This is what we saw when the Eagles traded Bradford. Will the Eagles do it? That is a question. Will the Niners want them to do it? That is another question. All these questions, Philly 500 can't compute this crap. So let's try to figure this out. Now, I first want to start at the wide receiver position. I want to talk about the wide receiver position and the fact that it looks and sounds like Alshon is really close to being cleared and he will be back probably this week, which is a big deal. It's going to be good to get him back. He's going to have to come in. He's going to have to shake off rust and all those kind of things. But does that mean our wide receiver position, is it good now? Are we good? I don't think so. I think we need to do more. I think we need to definitely do something at that other second wide receiver spot on the outside. I think we need to go out and try to make a trade. You could always go ahead and sign Dez Bryant. He's sitting there, so why not? But I think the Eagles definitely need to do something because like I've said many times, I want Aguilar in the slot. I think that's where he's the most comfortable. So I've talked about a lot of names, right? I've talked about Devontae Parker, Larry Fitzgerald. I've talked about Marvin Jones. I've talked about all these other guys, but I want to give you two new names to think about. Two new names to maybe go look up and see what's going on with them and their team, and maybe we can get one of these two guys. Now, one of them I think is a bit of a stretch, is probably not going to happen, and that's Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has been struggling with the Oakland Raiders. There's a lot of debate on whether it's his fault, the coach's fault, the quarterback's fault, but he has been pretty much non-existent the first 3 weeks of the year. The second week I think he was okay, but yesterday did nothing. The first week did nothing. And he's like disappearing from this offense totally and completely. Now, would the Raiders at 0-3 say, you know what, we're not going to pay this guy next year because they did pick up his contract. Let's move him. Let's move on from him. And maybe you get a situation where Howie Roseman can come in, blindside the whole entire league, and get Amari Cooper. That would be a great scenario. But what we need is the Raiders to keep losing. Now, the Raiders went on a limb. They traded Khalil Mack. Gruden got a lot of slack for it. He got a lot of slack for it. And would he be willing to do something like that again on the offensive side of the ball? I don't know. I don't know. But Amari Cooper with Alshon Jeffrey, I would take it in a second. And I would give up a second-round pick. I definitely would. Heck, I may even give up a first round. I really have to think about that. But the truth of the matter is, if Oakland continues to lose, Gruden may just say, you know what, I just want to get a bunch of picks. I want to get the guys in that I want to get in, and I want to rebuild this thing from scratch. So if there's a situation like that, we definitely have to jump on it. Now, I don't think this is likely. I think this is like a 5% chance of happening, but it's a name to be thrown out there and to think about. The other guy I want to talk about is a guy that I haven't really mentioned at all, and this guy is actually you're probably able to get him. He's probably really cheap, and the question is with him is he got anything left? Is he got anything left, or is he a shell of his former self? Because right now this year, he hasn't looked good. But if he does have something left, he would be the perfect guy to get as far as, somebody that can fill that number 2 wide receiver spot, that can play and play quick, and that is Pierre Garçon. Pierre Garçon could be the guy the Eagles may be able to go give a 5th-round pick in. He could come in, do an admirable job at that spot while we don't have Mike Wallace, while we don't have Matt Collins, and he may be cheap. So definitely consider him. Now, the thing with him is he belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he belongs to the San Francisco 49ers, and this gets us into what are the 49ers going to do at quarterback. The 49ers lose Jimmy G. They're 1-2. I don't think they were going to go compete for Super Bowl this year. I think they kind of know it. And to me, it is very unlikely that they would go out and try to bring in Nick Foles for 1 year. If you were trying to win the whole thing and you thought you could win a Super Bowl, yeah, then maybe you do it. Now, remember a few years ago when Minnesota traded for Bradford, they gave a 1st-round pick. But the thing is, when Bridgewater got hurt, Minnesota was devastated because they thought that was their year. They thought they were good enough to compete for a Super Bowl. So they didn't mind taking the shot and taking the risk. I don't think the 49ers are there. I think the 49ers know they're not there. And let's say they did trade for Foles. What are they going to trade for Foles? They're not going to give you Marquise Goodwin. They're not going to give a weapon away that they need for Foles because Foles needs weapons around him. So he wouldn't get traded in the deal. So most likely it would be for draft picks. How high are the 49ers going to go for just 1 year of a quarterback? Because Garoppolo comes back next year. So they're not going to give you a 2nd-round pick. They're not going to give you a 1st-round pick for 1 year. They're going to give you something really low, and I don't think it would work. I think there is a chance that Foles gets traded at some point before the deadline. I just don't think the 49ers are the right fit. Plus, I don't know how well he fits Shanahan's system. I mean, Shanahan likes guys that can roll out and can move a little bit. Yes, he did have Matt Ryan, but he wasn't the head coach. I can't see Nick Foles going to the San Francisco 49ers. I just can't see it happening. Obviously, I think the Eagles should call up and try to, talk to him about it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Matter of fact, I just heard that Tom Savage is going to work out for the Niners. So, I mean, you never know. We'll see what happens, but I don't think that's the answer. I don't think Foles to the San Francisco 49ers is going to work. But I do think there is somewhere that may pop up within the next few weeks. I think the trade deadline is October 30th, so there is time before the trade, and we're just going to have to see what happens. But Alshon Jeffrey, he's getting close. I still think we need a wide receiver, and I think Foles can be dangled there as trade bait for many teams now, being that Carson Wentz looks so good and he's back. And let me say, Carson Wentz, I give an A- to yesterday. I thought he was fantastic. He's my quarterback, and I love him. So with that said, what do you guys think? What do you think of those receivers? What do you think the chances are that the Niners would actually want Nick Foles? I'm curious to hear your guys' opinion. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.